Right, so the government, on a day that we've been announced that we've now been splashing the cash, as it were, taxpayers have anyway, it looks as though they've been splashing the cash even more, doesn't it?
Well, this is just completely prolific across Whitehall, and it's a combination of woke waste and a waste of time. I mean, we've been running stories on this sort of stuff for years. I mean, I remember about 2 years ago, the Department for Work and Pensions was advertising a course where you could do a Q&A with a witch. There's been all sorts of woke courses, and the insulting part actually isn't the fact that they're doing this nonsense. If workers want to do these ridiculous things, then fine. Most of them are happening during work hours. They're having sport away days on work. For a whole day, they're just heading off to a corner of London and playing sports with each other. It's trading, it's wasting money on training. There's also completely absurd targets. I think it was revealed earlier this week that one senior department now has a target for BAME employees of 6%, which is roughly twice their representation in the wider population. And it all begs the question, why?
There's a lot to this. You've also rightly raised there the idea that now there's these positive affirmation targets where we've got to have a double the amount of black people in the Treasury than are represented as a percentage in the country for some reason, which I can't get my head around, but there we go. But when it comes to actual wastage, it's not just your few £100 on a random Uruguayan vegan ice cream company, which is nuts, or that massive sesh in Naples, which appeared to take place at a party villa. But you've also got bigger ones as well, which is, the idea now, £35 million for the destruction of PPE. You've got 670 million quid of PPE that was also defective to begin with. And people are thinking, well, if I've worked hard all my life and I've put my money away a little bit and I'm seeing that there's people on benefits over there having their benefits in line with inflation, and I'm the one now who's going to get clobbered with taxes, and I don't necessarily trust that the government's going to spend these that well.
Well, this is always the case, right? The state, every state, not just the British one, but any government is incredibly inefficient. All public services are inefficient, right? Because you've got these bottomless pits, whether it's the NHS, whether it's local services, local government. You've got a constant demand for money, which the government feels it has to give into. At the same time, basically no one within any of these institutions is ultimately responsible. The media gets a hard time trying to hold civil servants to account because it's seen as not fair. So if they're not accountable, they've got huge budgets, then what you end up with is this exact sort of waste. We also have a problem structurally in the civil service where even though it's a Tory government and they might mouth off about this sort of waste, they really don't have the powers to put a stop to it, because the people who make these decisions are senior civil servants and they're areas of competency that
absolutely,
don't have control over.